Five, four, three, two, 1, 0. Let's start the party.
You're listening to Beyond Sight and Sound, live with Josh Kimmel and Leighton Harrington. If you want to be a part of our show tonight, call 419-549-5744.
We're back, we're live, and you are listening to Beyond Sight and Sound, metal detecting and treasure hunting radio. And I think after our little analogy of the rest of it seeming like a Walmart commercial, we'll throw the rest of it out the window and we'll just dive right into it. I am your host, Josh Kimmel. You all know me, and along with me tonight is the always there co-host, Mr. Leighton Harrington. How is it going, Leighton?
Hey, pretty good, buddy. Pretty good. How are you tonight? Jesus, I'll tell you, what an introduction, man.
I am excited.
Are you really? I couldn't tell. I saw you hopping all along the back there. You were jumping from screen to screen. I said, and then all of a sudden you went away. I said, oh, nice. She's going to let me throw it all out there on my own.
Going, uh-oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What happened?
Hey, we didn't rehearse
quiet.
that. Right, exactly.
Little bit of a technical glitch with the bumpers there. For some reason, something wasn't wanting to load up as quick as it normally would.
You recovered well.
Well, yeah, you know, hey, we try to do what we can. And, you know, not only are we from Ohio to the eastern shores of Cape Cod tonight, we are the world over. We're going across the pond tonight.
We are. Hey, I hope we got a good motor to get back.
Yeah, well, you're the captain. So.
Hey, I can get you there. You give me a compass, I'll get you there.
Awesome.
You're on your way. And you're on your own coming back, buddy.
Uh-oh. Well, you know, as long as I can get the guide dog to stay on top of the boat, we'll be fine.
We're good.
We're good. Yeah.
Good.
Well, I tell you what, tonight, man, we've been waiting for this for a while.
We have.
And two just absolutely great gentlemen to speak with, very passionate about the hobby. For those who have seen the promo, because I know we've been putting it out there everywhere, tonight we're going clear to Germany. And if you guys haven't seen his videos on YouTube, you should really check out the YouTube channel Coinshooter Roby. Great videos. They're hunting medieval ruins. They're digging up World War II ordnance, World War II militaria and memorabilia in a sense, medieval weapons. I mean, really, how do you top this stuff?
What a spectrum, right?
Right, and everything in between.
Right, what a spectrum. Here I thought I lived in a great place because I lived in colonial America. They topped that by 500 or 600 more years. And then some.
Yeah, easily. I mean,
Right.
But what can you say when you're digging up 1,000-year-old keys other than wow?
I think we should bring them in and let themselves get acquainted, and maybe we can have some people give us a call.
That's right.
Just real quick, I'll throw that number out there again. Maybe we can get some callers in here tonight and have them ask some questions. I'm sure people are thirsty for the answers. I know I have a few questions myself. But tonight's show number is 419-549-5744.
Or if you're lucky enough to have Skype, search Skype for Beyond Sight and Sound, and maybe you can get through that way. It all depends on whether or not Skype decides to glitch.
Well, we hope not. Either way, we'll get you on the air, that's for sure.
Yeah, we will do what we can to get you through there. But I guess before we go any further, I mean, how can the show go any further unless we bring in our two distinguished guests who have been up late and messed up their sleep schedule to join us tonight. Yes. So let's get them in here. How's it going, Robbie and Eric?
Hey, thanks, guys, for having us on the show, man. We're really looking forward to being part of this and to talk to y'all about metal detecting and stuff.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, you guys are really finding just some super cool stuff over there.
And stuff. I like how Eric says that. And stuff. These guys, are you kidding me? These guys got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they do. I mean, man, just watch their videos.
I know.
Wow.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. I got home today. I was really out straight this week from work, but I wanted to get in there and keep things fresh in my mind for tonight's topics with these guys, and I didn't get a chance to get out of here because I started watching one video that led to another video that led to another video. So it keeps your attention. Let's just say that.
Oh yeah,
great job,
absolutely. Guys. And he does a very good job with them.
Yeah, I like the videos. I do. I like all the little all the transitions and the music, and yeah, he did a really good job.
Mm-hmm. Which, speaking of the music, that was a little bit of a change in the audio for the show tonight.
I noticed. Let's have them come on in, and maybe they can let us know how they all, got started into the hobby and when, and, what piqued their interest, and all those good questions, no?
Absolutely. Which one of you two gentlemen would like to go first?
Yeah, Robbie, go ahead. You want to flip a coin?
Yeah, flip a coin.
Now, wait a minute. Talking to flipping coins, and Eric knows this. I don't know if Robbie knows this, but we've got a coin here in the U.S. Heads I win, tails you lose. So, just saying.
Well, I guess I'll start.
Go ahead. Yeah.
All right.
Way I got into metal detecting, well, I always thought it was a beach thing, go out on the beach and pick up some ring, pick up some gold. And all of a sudden, about 10 years ago, I came across a couple of videos of people doing stuff like this in their backyard or, left to the right. And, I'm a truck driver, and I'm always on the road. And I just think to myself, man, look at that. There's a ruin over there. It's about 1,000 years old. To the left, there's a castle, and, it just made click. And I just started going out there and finding real awesome stuff. And the hobby has always been good to me, and I just love it,
Mm-hmm. And about how long have you been doing it now?
10 years.
10 years or so. Okay. So and let me ask you. I know you're saying these ruins are 1,000 years old and stuff like that. I mean, what was that first item that really caught you off guard and you went, okay? Now
yeah, good point. I mean, you thought it was a beach thing and then seen people do it in other ways, but what was that first item you found that really just kind of clinched it for you? Like, oh yeah, I'm hooked.
Mm-hmm.
A crossbow arrow. It's about 800 years old. I was just thinking, what the heck is this?
Mm-hmm.
And then just the history behind it. Just imagining what the heck. These people who had this are dead 800 years, and yeah, and you start really getting into history, and it's amazing how much history there is.
Mm-hmm.
When you get on a field, you never know what you're going to find because there's 10 battles at the same field. So you find so much different stuff. It's just crazy.
So it's overlapping in these fields. Everything is time periods by a couple hundred years, or give or take 100 years. Is that what you're saying?
More than 100 years. You find World War II stuff. You'll find some badges from Hitler. All of a sudden, you'll find some real old stuff, middle-aged stuff. Crazy on the same field. So that's pretty interesting.
Well, I'll tell you this: if that was me, I'd be all over that place.
Right.
I'd be all over that place. That's awesome. That's awesome.
We are.
Yeah. I know you are.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
We're just a little bit careful about big targets and stuff because we've dug up quite a few bombs, phosphor bombs, airplane bombs. So we're a little bit careful about that stuff.
Well, we can talk a little more about that in a second. I was just curious. I just wanted to touch base with you, and then we'll maybe let Eric come in, and we'll try to keep you both up to the same speed as to how you guys get started and then kind of come together. But my question to you is, though, Robbie, is I know you just said something about those crossbow arrow tips. Mm-hmm. Now, for those that don't know, like me, I didn't realize that those things were still around. I didn't even know until I watched your videos. We just don't have them here. Never even heard of them. You never even thought of them. So you're saying they're like 800 or so years old. What are they made of? Are they iron? Are they brass? Bronze? What is this?
Kind of materials, but Eric has a blacksmith?
I got a blacksmith firm, and we did a little bit of experimental archaeology with trying to recreate how these things were made. Yeah, so
that's cool. That's simply amazing. Yeah, it is amazing. It really is. I mean, even so you guys are digging every signal because you really don't know what you're going to find, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah. See here, obviously, a little different. Yeah.
Especially if you're a relic hunter, you have to dig everything.
That's correct.
That's right.
And how about you, Eric? Can you tell us how you kind of got involved a little bit here, and then maybe you guys can kind of let us know how you combined.
Right, how you met up after that. Yeah. And, basically, how did you get into the hobby, and what brings you to today?
All right, so, I basically grew up around metal detecting. My dad had I think it was a 1979 or somewhere in 1979, 1980, he bought a Bounty Hunter RB5. I think it's a VLF machine. I'm not really sure, but it took 16 AA batteries. So, as a kid, I couldn't afford to put batteries in the thing. But my dad, he'd go out to the park, across the street. We had a elementary school, and there's a playground there. And, kids would lose their lunch change and things like that. And so he'd go out there and dig it up. And before you knew it, he had like 4 or 5 other neighborhood kids like surrounding him, bugging him the whole time. Did you find anything? What'd you find? Which is kind of irritating. But on the other hand, he was really nice about it. He showed the kids the stuff he was finding. And, hopefully some of those kids, like a seed was planted and they grew a love for the hobby. So, I messed around with that for a while until eventually I bought my own Bounty Hunter. Now, I don't use Bounty Hunters anymore. Nothing against Bounty Hunters. If you're starting out and you're a kid or you don't got a lot of money, they're good machines. They're not too bad, but they're not what I got now. And, so I moved over to Germany after I got out of the Army, and I thought, man, I've got to have another metal detector. And so I had a metal detector shipped over here from the States, and I just started just metal detecting in fields and things. And so the first coin that I found was a 1906 10 penny piece, and I thought, wow, that's great. And this was 10 years ago or something. But just the years growing up watching my dad, just dig money out of the ground, I thought, man, this is better than Christmas. You're swinging the coil and you're digging stuff up and you don't know what it is. And especially when you get over here, you really don't know what it is. So, actually, the settings on metal detectors, they're designed for the American market. And that doesn't really work over here very well. It'll show you, your needle will point to a nickel. I got a Fisher CZ3D. It's got a big needle that goes back and forth on it. And, it'll point to a nickel. Of course, it's not a nickel. It could be anything else, So, I don't even look at my, my screen anymore. So, but really, if you're relic hunting, you really got to dig up the signals. Even if it sounds like, a small piece of iron, that could be an arrowhead. That could be something, something decent. So, yeah, so that's basically how I got started in metal detecting.
So you come over to Germany and you ordered yourself a detector and started hunting over there. How did you and Robbie meet then? Like, how long had you hunted before you actually hooked up with Robbie?
Well, I was hunting here for probably about 10 years before before technology came far enough along with Facebook and Skype and all that kind of thing. And I found I found Robbie on Facebook. First I didn't even see his videos. I didn't know he was making YouTube videos yet. And I just decided to contact him and say, hey, look, I'm not too far away from you. I mean, we don't live we're not neighbors, but
60 clicks.
Yeah, so it's about 60 kilometers. I don't know how many miles it is.
About 45 miles.
I'd say about 45 miles. Okay, we'll agree on that. And so we just said, hey, let's get together one time. And so I came over here to his place, and he took me to some of his sites, which were
pretty cool.
Really cool places to go metal detecting. And I was like, man, this is nice. And this guy, this is a coin killer. It's a privilege, and I count it a privilege that he allows me to go metal detecting with him. Because this guy just pulls the coins out of the ground like they're nothing.
And he's the relic dude, man.
I'm the relic guy.
Yeah.
Well, then you make a good combination that way.
Yeah, isn't it funny how when you two get together, it's kind of like brothers, or and then you kind of like, one guy's got his little niche, the other guy's got the other little niche, and you guys just hit it off, and and the rest is history, right?
Yeah, but it's pretty cool. I was never like a relic hunter, and ever since I met Eric, it's been fascinating what we're pulling out of the ground.
Right.
I got a convert here.
Right, I was going to say, how long have you and Eric been hunting together then?
About 2 years.
Yeah, about 2 years, yeah.
And do you, like in your case, Robbie, do you find yourself, hey, I'm like the coin killer, I'm a coin shooter, and now that you've been hunting with Eric, do you find yourself paying attention to other signals, or like trying to dig up more relics now, or vice versa for Eric?
Well, let's say it this way, them relics, that key that I pulled out with the crosses worked in the middle of it, or this axe head that's 600 years old, wow. That is really amazing,
Yeah, nobody can debate the fact you have dug some very nice relics yourself, and like you said, with that key, the medieval axes, just phenomenal.
That key, I think, is the best find I've had ever metal detecting. I think it's worth more than gold. I'm serious.
Yeah, I believe it. Is it a church key? Fill us in a little bit on it. I know it looked like it was it iron or bronze?
What fascinates me about it is I would just love to know how the mechanics work on that thing.
Yeah, I know. I saw how intricate it was.
So crazy. Really.
Yeah, I found myself thinking the same thing when I was looking at it, going, man, it's so intricate. How is it supposed to catch the latch?
Out of this world, I wouldn't expect something like that at all, man. It looks like it came from the aliens,
Yeah. And for the folks that haven't seen it yet, it does have somewhat of a cross in the center of it, or off to the center towards the back, and then it's got kind of like a maze of some type of work. It's incredible, and it's all there.
Yeah, very ornate, which there are a couple of pictures of it in the slideshow that's playing right now, too.
Right. That's right. Yeah, I was just looking at it, as a matter of fact, again. That is quite the find. I have to agree. Worth more than gold. I don't know.
It is pretty cool.
It is cool. To me, it reminds me of an old type of what we would call a church key from the U.S. They're really big, large, oversized. They were made for bronze doors for the churches, and a lot of them did have an X or somewhat of a cross that was usually embedded in the works, in the mechanism for the tumblers. So that's why
it does have a bit of a religious connotation to it.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
Well, the Crusaders did march through here, so that's what makes the object even more interesting and stuff.
Wow. Did you have an archaeologist look at it, Robbie, or tell us a little bit about that? Did you actually?
Well, we sent pictures. We're still waiting for more information, you know. But I'm allowed to keep the key, so that's good. I'm happy with that.
That's perfect. It doesn't get any better than that. Do you have to report everything over there that you find that's significant?
We have a program on online that shows us red zones where we're not allowed to go into.
Okay.
Everything around it we're allowed to hunt. So that's where we hunt, you know.
Okay. Well, that's interesting because we don't have that here. Not to say that won't get ever implemented someday, but at this point, this day and age, we don't have that. We're at the point where they'll just stick a no trespassing sign and no metal detecting sign, and that's the end of it.
Well, I know talking to Robbie about it the other day when he was telling me about going online and seeing the red zones, I was like, wow, you know, we could use something like that in the States because it's all pretty much black and white. Hey, can I hunt here? No, absolutely not, but I can over here.
Right. I'm just afraid that once they implement something like that, though, Josh, and for you guys, too, you know as well as I do, once it's gone, it's never going to get given back. That's my, you know, we've talked about this many times on the show. It's kind of like piecemealing you. They'll take a little bit now, and another year they'll take a little bit more of that area. Next thing you know, they got the whole area, and you can't ever hunt it. Not to say that you couldn't get permission if you were going to give everything back, but you know, that's a touchy subject, right?
Yeah, true.
And with the way you guys are hunting over there, like we had spoke the other day, apparently, and I didn't realize this until speaking to Robbie the other day, but there's, I guess, detecting itself in general still isn't, like, extremely popular over there. It's not like it is in the U.S. for us. So there's less people doing it, and there's actually only just a few areas that it is allowable.
Actually, you're allowed to metal detect everywhere. We're in the free state of Bavaria. You know, as long as we don't get in the red zone, everything's okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I can tell you now, I got, let's say, the diameter from 10 miles. I got Kelton site 500 years before Christ. I got another site, they say it's 30-year war. I think it's a little bit older, about 1,000 years old. I got, behind my house, I got a training area that was used by the SS Nazis. There are 2 castles up there that have never been touched before because it's an off-limit zone. Then I got a volcano in the middle of it. Up here we got a couple, I don't know what you call it, Blasido. What do you call that in English?
Oh, you know, it's a
middle age where they make glass.
Yeah, they make like glass vessels and things like that.
Yeah.
Glass blowing, I guess. You know.
Oh,
and,
wow.
Yeah, and if I get bored, I got like about 15 ski slopes where I actually really make good money. You know,
Right, so you're going, well, if I'm out on a clad run, you know, I can just run over here and do pretty good.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And these places have never been touched. I found this place about 5 years ago, and like I said, I was hitting like about $70 a day the first couple of weeks.
Oh, my God.
It's like walking 2 feet, bing, 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 you know, big coin. Cool.
And that's just in the coins. That's not counting the jewelry, Leighton.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. It's, you know what?
Pocket spills up there is just crazy, you know, like rotten wallets and stuff with a bunch of change in it. And I found everything. Found American money, Spain. I found World War II money. Had a Nazi coin spill. Just amazing. Just so crazy. Love the place. You know.
Now, do you guys find much American money over there, or like what is? I would assume, being in Germany, the majority of the coinage you find is probably either German coins or the euro.
Yeah, but I found a lot of American coins. I found Indian head pennies. I don't have no clue how they got over here, but it does amaze me when I find stuff like this. I mean, like I said, this used to be American military bases. We used to have them all around the place in the Cold War, you know. So there were a lot of GIs going on ski slopes and stuff, losing money, and you find everything there. It's just amazing. Jewelry, over gold, you know.
And then I know from like the German coins that I've found over here stateside, they seem to ring up pretty much like our American coinage would. Do you guys find that the coins over there ring up differently or anything?
Well, the euros do ring up differently than the old Deutschmark and stuff. Or like if you find one from Hitler, like a 5 D-mark piece, 900 silver, it does ring up different. Totally different sounds. You know, coins were way better back then if they were silver.
Right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I know, like over here, Leighton and I, we love to get our coils over them silver coins, and they ring up so nice.
Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah, they say all the time, dig me, dig me, dig me.
Yeah, how can you refuse that signal?
You know, Robbie, it's kind of a coincidence. I don't think you may or may not know this about me, but about 5 years ago, my son and I actually found a cache of German coins that had over 400 coins in it. They weren't very old. They only went back to about 1902, I think. But some of them were huge. I mean, I'd say actually, I have. There was probably about maybe 50 of them that were silver, German silver, and one of them actually is about the size of, I guess, $2 silver dollars together, U.S. silver dollars. It's a very large coin.
Wow.
So actually, I put that on Treasure.
That's not a coin. That's a property plaque.
Yeah, it looked like a marker through. You know how they have a property marker? That's what it looked like. It was really big and thick. So yeah, that was quite a thing. I mean, here we are talking to a couple of guys in Germany, and you know, that was something that we found on a beach. So we think that maybe someone possibly maybe robbed a house or something, and you know, ran down the beach because they were spilled for quite a distance. They were, well, by the end of the day. There ended up being quite a few of us metal detectorists there. It was my son and I who actually located it when we first got there at like 6 in the morning. And then we were just digging like woodchucks. I mean, we were just digging. I mean, my pouch was so heavy, I actually had to walk back to the truck and empty it at the time. And so didn't my son, but we ended up with quite a few. And every one of them were German. Every single coin was a German coin. So we think somebody had them in a box, and maybe somebody robbed the house, and they ran down the beach with the stuff and somehow lost them or whatever.
Must have had a hole in their bag of loot.
Yeah, I think either that or they got chased, right? Who knows? And they just dumped it, and that was the end of it. Who knows?
Right.
But anyway, I'd like to say that again, Robbie?
I said the story behind them coins and stuff is always very interesting, you know.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you never know. And you know, that's right. And we never put it, you know, we never said anything to the newspaper or anything like that. So, and they weren't there for a long time, to be honest with you. I mean, it wasn't like they were there in one little pile, and they weren't there for, you know, if I had to guess, less than a year. So, because they were pretty clean on the beach.
Okay.
But anyway, I did have quite a few of them. I could actually, if I think of it later on, I'll send you the whole article. It's pretty cool. Nice. But I wanted to find out about Eric. I know Eric was saying that he is the Relicman. What's one of the things that stick out in your mind? I know we were just talking to Robbie about his key, and that's a relic. But you were saying earlier he's more of a coin guy. You're the relic guy. I'm just curious. What I know you said something about, you know, the 800-year-old crossbow arrows earlier, but is there anything else that sticks out in your mind, or, you know, that you could really tell us that has kind of really clinched it for you to make you want to keep digging the relic area?
Well, you know, I've been collecting coins since I was a kid. I've always been interested in coins. And so I kind of go through phases. You know, if I want to find coins, I'll go on my farm field, you know, because that's a great place to find coins. But if I want to look for relics, I want some old stuff, then I'll go off into the woods and find some relics. But I mean, as far as a find that really stands out, I think I would have to say that the early Iron Age axle pins that I found, at first I didn't know what they were, but, that's kind of the fun thing about the hobby, especially over here. You dig stuff out of the ground that nobody uses anymore, and nobody knows what this stuff is anymore. But somebody out there on the internet knows what this thing might be. So I did some research, found out these things are early Iron Age axle pins for carriages. And these things would fall out all the time because, they have this wooden wheel, and then you have the axle, which is made out of wood, and then you have a steel or, some hammered iron pin that would go through there. And then the end of that pin is hammered flat to kind of keep it in there. But they always vibrate it out. And so, I think that's one of the things where I said, wow, because we were detecting, everybody says discriminate, turn the iron off, it's just bottle caps and junk and stuff like that. So, I kind of carried that mentality over here with me when I first started out. But then I thought, man, there's a lot of iron here. And like I said earlier, I can't remember if you or Josh said this, but, you weren't aware that these crossbow arrows were even around anymore, okay? So, it has a lot to do with the soil matrix. I mean, you have, like oxygen poor thick clay that's not, the item falls off. It's very quickly. The oxygen's basically it's sealed off from oxygen, and it begins to rust, and that rust is building a protective layer around it because people think, okay, rust is corrosion. It's not really, because iron is a really complex material. And, so like you're saying with the electrolysis, if you've known about that thing in the 1970s, with your musket, then you'd probably still have it today. So, but, the more I started to dig up iron, the more stuff I started to find. And I think the one thing, if I had to pick something, which is kind of hard to pick one thing out of all the things that I found, early on I found a leaf-shaped arrowhead. Now, I don't know how old it is, because the leaf-shaped arrowheads, they're kind of hard to date, because, they used those thousands of years ago, all the way up until early modern, times, stuff like that, 1700s, 1600s, when people were hunting and things like that. So they're really hard to date. The things that are easy to date are the crossbow bolts and, certain types of, early arrowheads. Those are kind of easy to date. So, yeah, I mean, I really don't, have like one specific thing. One thing I don't like to find now a lot of people are going to think I'm crazy, because I live in Germany. A lot of people are fans of World War II stuff. Oh, man, World War II, I'm not a fan of this stuff. I really don't like it, because you have to go into trashy areas to get the stuff.
Dangerous areas, too.
Dangerous areas, right? And, you got a lot of shrapnel, which is, I call it crapnel because it sounds like a good, big, solid iron object, something I might want to dig up as a relic hunter, but it just turns out to be another piece of shrapnel, from, anti-aircraft, gun. You find bullet casings everywhere, and so, I'm just not into that. It's too much, I like to go off in some woods where it's clean and
untouched.
Particularly a hill, because a hill today was a hill 5,000 years ago, and 5,000 years ago people loved hills. So
well, yeah,
go up on the hill.
It stands true. They still do today too. Like the ski slopes and sled hills and stuff like that. They're just hills are a great vantage point anyway, especially for all the conflict you guys have had over there in terms of strategics. They're going to want to go to the hills.
Yeah, I mean, even same thing here too with the Indians, right? I mean, the natives that's what they did. They went to the high point so they could they used it to their advantage, and that's as long as humans have been in existence. So it just makes sense to be high.
Absolutely.
Right. So, let me just kind of set the scene here. Robbie and I, we were detecting in an area where there weren't a whole lot of good signals. It was kind of frustrating, until I found that MIDEVAL, that little cannonball. I think you guys have a picture of that I sent from the 30 Years' War. And but we continued to detect the area, when all of a sudden Robbie blurts something out, and I detect with headphones on because it's just, I think, saves battery. It's just a lot better for me. And I didn't hear what he said, when he blurted this out, so I took the headphones off, and I said, hey, what's up? And he said, mine. I said, what?
You're going, what?
He said, landmine. And my heart just sunk through the floor because I knew what this meant. I knew what this meant for us. It meant that we were going to have to deal with authorities. We've done this before, and it's just a process, right? So anyway, I walked over to Robbie's location. He shows me a round, rusty object about 2.5 inches thick and about 11 or so inches in diameter. And in the middle of it had this little knob sticking up. Yeah, and so it was corroded. It was like bluish green. And I thought, if this was a landmine, then this is where the tilt rod would have been. And this thing was just screaming danger. And so anyway, we had a decision that we had to make. One, we could put it back in the ground and pretend we never found it, which is not the right thing to do. Or we could do the right thing, the moral thing, and call the police, right?
Right.
So anyway, with our hearts in our pockets, we walked back to my house, or went back to my house, and I called the police. The guy on the phone, who was a bit surprised, I said, yeah, I found a landmine. At this point, Robbie already went home. He had other things to do. So anyway, the police guy, the police, that's the German police, okay? And so he told me to wait at my house, and then a police car was going to come and pick me up, and I was supposed to take him out there in this piece of woods where they, so they could look at it, So anyway, I got in my car, and they followed me in my car, and we got to the site. They took a GPS reading from where the landmine was located, and they told me they'd contact me when they found out anything, found out what's going to happen to it. I thought that was pretty cool thing to do. I thought, take them out of the show. And they're okay, yeah, because you found it and it's interesting for you to know what happens to it. We'll call you. So anyway, so after lunch, and I got my belly's full, and I just laid down for my nap, as is my custom to do so. Then the phone rang, and it was a police. And so regardless of the GPS coordinates that he took, and the other two officers, that were that morning with me that I showed them, they knew the location of the landmine. Okay, they still wanted me to come back out and show them the exact location of where this thing was. So anyway, I got back out there, pouring down rain, it's freezing cold, and so I rounded the corner, and there's 2 cop cars out there and a bomb squad truck. So anyway, I got out and I walked across into the woods. There were 5 cops in there, a bomb guy standing at the edge of a taped off 20-yard by 20-yard perimeter, which they marked with crime scene tape. And they were writing on clipboards and taking pictures of the area, And then this older cop, I'm assuming he's the boss of this outfit, he gets up on top of me, breathing down my neck like a drill sergeant, and he kept demanding that I show him the location of the mine. And I said, whoa, hold up a second, man. We're in the middle of the woods. Everything looks exactly the same. And plus, now it's raining and I'm freezing cold, right? And we're all wet. So anyway, he backed off and he let me do my thing. When I said, hey, guys, it's not here. And they're like, what do you mean it's not here? This is where the GPS coordinates were. This is where the other 2 officers said it was. How come it's not here? So anyway, I was getting kind of irritated because this guy came back and he was like, hey, I thought you were here this morning, and showed the other officers the mine. Where is it? He wanted to know where it was. So, I walked about 20 yards outside of the crime tape area, okay, and that's where I found the mine. They were way off. Right? And so, it was a long shot, too. So anyway, the bomb guy walks over. He's got his military-style PI, pulse induction detector. The thing's laying on the ground. You can see it. And so he turns on his metal detector, and he feels like he has to go over it. And he goes over it, and the metal detector beeps, and then he says, oh, there it is. I'm like,
there it is.
See it. It's right here. So, so anyway, I'm thinking, okay, this is the end of the story. So the bomb guy was in charge now. The cops, they left. no big deal. And this bomb guy, he picks it up and he looks at me like, man, you're not serious. You should know what this is. I said, no. I said, I don't know what it is. And it was kind of embarrassing because I told him earlier, I've been to, in the Army, I went to Bosnia, and had a lot of landmine classes. So I guess it's kind of like just freaked out by this stuff anyway. And he told me that was a Russian machine gun.
Barrel drum.
And it wasn't a mine.
Well,
so,
I guess
that's
that's
the kind of...
At least it was.
Yeah.
But it was gone, as soon as you find something like that, and it's gone. You ain't got a chance. You got to report stuff like that. Though.
Yeah, and any undisclosed things, okay, I don't mess around with it, and we just rather report it, and but before somebody gets hurt, really.
Yeah, well, in this case, it worked out in your favor.
It did, yes.
So you did the right thing.
But the bomb squad guy, he reminded me that it's like, if you're going to go metal detecting, don't do it before holidays. Don't do it before the weekend.
Because that's when you get called up, because everybody's finding bombs.
Right, and he had to drive like 300 miles to get to my spot. So
wow.
Yeah.
So what did they do with it, though? Did they end up taking it and keeping it and securing it? Or did they say, hey, they kept it?
Yeah, they kept it because I asked the guy, what's going to happen to it, and he had a box in the back of his truck. He put it in there, and he said that they collected a bump, and then when it gets to a certain level, they blow that stuff up. So
okay, I see.
Wow.
Sheesh.
Man, and it goes to show you just never know what you're going to find.
Oh yeah, man, it was pretty wild story. Remember that time we was on a field and a farmer with his four-wheel drive came with about 6 miles an hour and ran it over. Yeah, I actually had a permission for the place, and this guy was raising all kinds of cane. What the heck are you doing here? $50,000, and so we was like, what does this do? What, And we found out later that some other metal detectors found anti-aircraft gun, 4-barrel,
whole thing,
about 2 meters down deep. And first the forklift came, then what do you call
like a bulldozer came, like an excavator came and dug it out.
Then some newspaper people came. Then the TV crew started coming. This started to be a big, huge thing. And the farmer was actually totally mad because it cost $50,000 this whole action. So I can understand it.
So he kicked us off the field. Now these are fields I've been detecting on for 10 years. I had permission to detect on these fields, and he had like 23 farm fields. So there's more farm fields available to me than I could detect for the rest of my life. There's just so much. But he lost a lot of money.
I can imagine. I can see his concern, but is that something that you do you have written permission, or is it just verbal permission? Is that something that you guys keep on you at all times?
Well, before they answer that, Leighton, we've the calls kind of went a little choppy, so I think we're going to take a quick commercial break and try to reconnect with them.
Okay, good. Sure.
Okay, we'll connect with you guys again here in just a few seconds. We're going to try to reset the call here and see what happens.
Okay.
So we'll be right back with you guys. Bear with us, folks. We're experiencing a little bit of a technical difficulty with the audio, but we'll see what we can do. Until then, we'll roll a commercial and get back to you. Would you like to optimize your success out in the field? Metal detecting and gold prospecting? One word: Coiltech. They've been manufacturing high-performance aftermarket coils for years now for popular models such as the E-Track, the Sovereign, the Explorer series, the GPX series, and our favorite, the 10x5 for the CTX 3030. Great target separation in trashy areas, still maintaining excellent depth for the coil size. Coil Tech is optimizing discovery, your potential for success in the field. You can check them out at coiltechmanufacturing.com.au. Okay, we'll see if maybe that improves things a little bit. Looks like we've got them back. You guys got us all right?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Well, we'll see how this goes. We'll try it for a few minutes. So you were asking them, Leighton.
Yeah, I was just curious. I mean, is this something? I know Eric was saying that he's got quite a bit of permissions. He's got enough there for the next 30, 40 years, and I know Robbie was saying the same with that volcano really sounds really interesting too. I mean, I know maybe there might not be, but I'd love to get up in that area just for giggles and see what, in fact, if anything, is in that area. But
yeah, just to say, hey, I've hunted a volcano.
Yeah, I mean, I was just curious. I mean, so you keep these, Eric, or even Robbie, if either one of you want to answer, maybe both of you do it a little bit differently. Do you keep a piece of paperwork on you that says to an owner when you show up? And, sometimes you don't hunt that area for, let's say, a year or two, and then all of a sudden you're on his property and here comes somebody flying down the street, in a Jeep or whatever, saying, hey, get off my property, and then... So my question is, I guess, basically, do you keep a piece of paperwork on you saying that you do have permission with the landowner's name on it, or how does that work over there?
Well, do you want to answer?
Yeah, so the permissions that I had, which I don't have anymore because he doesn't allow anybody to mentally check on his property anymore after this aircraft gun was found. Mm-hmm. These are the farmer. These are people that I've known for a long time. They've been friends of our family, so I didn't feel like I needed a written permission, right. And they let me detect on his fields. I mean, I detected those fields for over 10 years, and never a problem, But once this
stupid coincidence
thing happened, and he lost a lot of money, just didn't want to mess with it anymore.
But basically, by law, we do not need permissions in the free state of Bavaria.
Nice.
In other German states, it is different. You can get in a lot of trouble. Like I said, I'm a truck driver, and I got my metal detector with me, and if I get stuck in Berlin, whatever.
Well, you have to have permission.
Yeah.
That's probably.
Yeah, I mean, I went swinging there, too, and the first thing I found was a bomb, so I covered it back up and went back to my truck, and,
You called it a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when you kind of go, well, not much to be found here. Back to the truck.
Full tabs of bombs.
Right.
Unbelievable. I know on one of the slides that we were playing for the beginning of the promo on Blog Talk Radio for you guys. I think it was Eric that's holding a big parrot bomb. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah. That's
go ahead, tell us.
That was dropped on the road to Schweinfurt, Germany. I think it was April 17th, 1943.
Oh, so you even got it narrowed down to the day.
Yeah, I know when the air raids or the air attacks, it was the Royal British Air Force that attacked Schweinfurt, and in waves, because Schweinfurt, that's the town about where I live, and that was the
Bombarian. That's where they made the
ball bearing industry.
Yeah. It was the most hit city in Germany.
So that would have made them a very strategic target.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but I do try to stay away from, I just don't like to be around it. So anyway.
Oh, we got ways where you can go in the wood and just dig them up. I mean, but these are like 20, 25 kilo phosphor bombs.
Yeah.
Very dangerous stuff,
Yeah.
The one that you're seeing me hold there, okay, so there's a little bit of story behind that.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I was back there in these woods before I even knew that this was a heavily bombed area, because you can't tell by looking at the surface, what's under the surface. Sometimes you can, but in this case, I was out there metal detecting, and I found a belt buckle, really big, ornate belt buckle. And I thought, wow, isn't that really nice? And I decided to restore the thing, you know, get all the dirt off of it and, you know, oil it up and make it nice. Well, about a year later, I was back out there, and I found another one exactly like it, or at least I thought it was another one exactly like it, but it turned out to be the back plate of the one that I'd found a year earlier.
Nice.
That's cool.
So I'm thinking, this must be a nice spot to go metal detecting, right? So I'm back there,
Yeah.
and I get a great big signal, and I'm thinking, this is a, you know, a treasure chest, you know, I would think. You just hope for that, right, Roby? So that never happens, right? So, you know, I get this big signal, I'm digging deep, and suddenly I hit this big, flat piece of metal, and I dig it out, and it's starting to look like something dangerous, but I noticed on one side of it, as I was digging it out, that it was hollow inside. And I was like, well, I've got to finish digging this thing out. I got to see what this is. And what it is now, in that picture you see of me standing there with my raincoat on, I'm holding this thing up in my driveway, the back of that is all blasted out. And so the contents, the phosphorus that was in there, which was used to burn all the foliage and, you know, if there's any equipment, vehicles or anything down there, then that would just burn all that up. And so that's why they were dropping those on the way in, because they wanted to get rid of the aircraft guns, so like the main way to come in and drop their bombs on the city. Yeah, so that's how. And then literally, I mean, I'm talking like 20 feet later, I find another one. And so I'm thinking there's a whole bunch of them back there. But I'm not, and then I found a live one when I was out with Robbie.
Whoa, that kind of amps up the ante.
Yeah, things turned serious. And so, you know, of course, we called the police time, the bomb squad came out and the whole thing. So, yeah,
these guys must be getting tired of you guys calling them.
Well, I'm thinking they're all probably on a first-name basis at this point.
Evidently. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Yeah, you guys are friends on Facebook. That's great. Don't worry about it. We'll get to them guys later. Why? Oh, it's only Robbie and Eric. They got another bomb.
Yeah, you know, give it a little while. They may have another one.
I'm avoiding the areas where I know that stuff is there because I'm just not into it.
Right.
When you guys happen to stumble across these like that and have to call them, do they ever go, would you guys knock it off?
That's hard to say because it is very dangerous. I mean, kids playing around, people jumping. I mean, these woods, you know, I mean, like
people go back there.
Yeah, I mean, like in a farm field, you have plows or whatever that destroy them, but in the middle of the woods, I mean, it's very dangerous. You know?
Oh yeah, and really, on a serious note, you guys are doing a civic duty in reporting these and getting them out of the ground so that nobody does get injured.
We have to report that by law. You know.
Yeah.
I got other people that I know that metal detect in Germany. They, hand grenade. Let's just bury it, cover it up, and get the heck out of here. You know, because it takes like 4 hours for the cops to come, then another 4 hours for them to pick it up, and the day is gone.
Yeah. Right. So when you guys find this, it's kind of like, well, looks like we're done hunting for today.
So we know you guys are finding munitions. I'm just curious, how about the guns themselves or anything like that? Are you finding any of those pieces of them even, or barrels, or?
Yeah, a long time ago, this was probably 7 years ago, I found, now I'm not, like I said, I'm not a big World War II buff, but I found a machine gun, I think it was an MP9, MP38, I don't know, you guys probably know more about World War II than I do, yeah, but, and it was completely intact. Of course, it didn't work. The bolt and the carrier group, completely rusted. No chance of getting that thing to ever work again. And it laid at my house for several years until I found a guy who wanted it, and so he took it and he took it back to the States with him. So it's not even here anymore. I found a gun barrel one time. And the interesting thing about this gun barrel was I was metal detecting up the side of this hill, and there was this bush there. And I almost tripped over it, but the gun barrel was sticking straight up out of the ground. And so when I looked down, I saw the gun barrel sticking up at me. And I didn't know what it was, so I pulled it up. I said, oh, my gosh, that's a gun barrel.
Glad it ain't no boob trap or something like that, man.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And there was
just sticking up out of the ground.
Just sticking up out. And there was nothing else around it. So I don't think it was a military weapon. I think it was just some, I don't know how it got there. Maybe it was a murder weapon, probably.
Who knows?
You know?
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows what the story was. Like you said, though, Robbie, you never know. That could have been a booby trap back then, or who knows?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's crazy. Crazy
Sometimes
stuff.
the things that we find leave us with more questions than answers.
Right, exactly. But, hey, I wanted to ask you a question about your killer dog.
Oh.
That is a cute dog.
That is a cute dog. I just want to throw this out there real quick. I don't know if anybody else has seen the videos, but you know how the dog, after you gave it a bath, was on the sofa and it was rubbing itself? Well, that's the same thing I do when I find a gold ring. Same thing.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say that's the same thing I do when I get out of the shower.
No, I act the same way when I find a gold ring. I rub all over the ground.
Right.
That's great. That's awesome. I'd throw that out there anyway.
Yeah, he's a cool dog. You know, yeah. Eric always likes the metal detector with headphones. I don't. Because I got ran over a couple of times by wild boars, and they are very dangerous. And that's so when I'm metal detecting, the dog will like sit on his, you know, like a prairie dog, and you know, look in that direction, and I'll look over there, and I'll see see them animals coming or whatever, and you know, I just don't mess with them. I just go totally out of the way. You know? So
you use your dog as a sense of
early warning system.
Yeah, an early warning. Yeah, that's a good idea. Never thought of doing something
anybody
like
else is walking through, or anybody, you know, he'll sit on his back and stiff his ears and just look in the direction, and he doesn't bark, nothing. He's totally perfect dog for that, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good idea. I never thought of doing something like that. Of course, I have a little baby greyhound. If my dog saw anything like that, it'd be running after it.
It'd be gone.
Exactly. It'd be gone.
Yeah,
so, but that's a good idea.
Looks like a prairie dog, and so I know what's going on. So
just the right size, you can tuck the dog in a backpack or something.
As soon as I hit the woods, I have to, you know, because the little fella's so small, you know, he only weighs, 2 pounds or something like that, 2-3 pounds.
Right, and especially with some of the wildlife running around there, like you said, wild boar, plus you guys are starting to deal with wolves again, right?
Well, they're pushing into Europe now. Also, they've found bears here that you know, rip sheep and whatever. That's starting to come back from east.
Wow.
And Romania, and who knows where that's coming in.
Right. Well, and the other thing too, I mean, it's nice to have the dog as an early warning and stuff like that, because you figure over there, Leighton, they're not. It's illegal to own a firearm, so they don't really have that option for protection out in the wild.
Right.
Exactly. Got a predator shovel that's pretty sharp. That's what I use.
That's it. That's it. You can only swing so many times before one of them boars gets you, though. I know.
Oh, they can get pretty mean too.
Yeah, they are. They're very mean. Yeah, I know they have. Same situation in Florida. Here in the U.S., down south, they have a lot of wild boars down there too, destroying the crops, eating whatever. And I know they've rushed people too. So yeah, well, you know, we're fortunate enough up in the east coast of Massachusetts here, in the northeast part of the U.S., where we don't have to deal with wild boars, but. You know, we've got our other things that we have to worry about when we're out in the water. I know you said you like to do water hunting, and when you first started. So, yeah, we have to worry about the sharks, right? So stuff like that. Always have to be prepared for the unprepared.
Right. In the instances of where you have run across these boar. Is it something where as long as you just make sure to get out of the way, they run right on by and leave you be, or have you ever found yourself having to, like, run up a tree or something?
No, thank goodness. I see them from far, and I'm, like, turning around and zip back down the hill. I don't even mess with it. You know, because they come, like, about 10 to 15 to 20. I mean, these are, like herds.
Whole family.
Yeah, quite a pack of them then.
And if they got their little babies with them, they're very dangerous. So,
yeah, very protective, right?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
It's only happened about like 3 times or so, but you know, like I said, just go out of their way.
I know you were saying that you both have these huge fields that you're in. Do you pack in kind of like Josh and I do, you know, with a backpack? I saw some of the videos with a backpack, and so you're bringing water, you're bringing extra pinpointers, stuff like that. You do the same thing as we do here?
Maybe a sandwich or something.
Oh yeah, always. Because the hunts do actually take 8 hours plus more.
Yeah, we go all day. We go out, it's all day. Yeah.
2 or 3 hours hunts is unlikely. We really go the whole day.
We don't really do many quick hunts, you know, because first of all, for us to get together, there's a big distance. I mean, it takes like an hour to drive here, you know.
Then maybe half an hour to walk to the location.
To the site, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. In some of these spots, you guys are probably hiking in a ways just to get there to hunt.
Yeah, exactly that.
So tell us a little bit about this 30. What is it? I think, correct me if I'm wrong. 30-year war, is that what it was called?
Yeah. Do you want to? Yeah. So basically, the 30-year war was
religious.
It was a religious war between Catholics and Protestants, and this was in 1618, from 1618 to 1618 to 1648 was when this was, and it was basically Gustav Adolf. He was the Swedish king at the time, and he invaded Germany, and there was a lot of small towns, villages, things like that were attacked. And so actually where I found that little cannonball, now I can't prove that 30 years war. I mean, you know, it looks like a mini ball from the Civil War, you know.
Right,
but I mean, we just have the American Civil War here. So, I mean, it could only be that, you know. And, I don't really know a lot about the history of the 30 Years' War. I know when it was, you know, places where it was.
But all of Europe was involved.
Yeah,
And they would hang people on the trees. I mean, you gotta YouTube it up, man. It's very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't know nothing about that until I started metal detecting, you know. And I have it right on my house doorstep, so that's amazing.
Right. It is very amazing, and I never even heard of it until I started, talking with you gentlemen. So, as long as I've been in the hobby, I've been doing this since 72 or so, and here I am still learning today, right? 44 plus years later. Never heard of that before, ever.
Just goes to show you never know what you're going to pick up.
That's right.
It's a lot of fun, because we live by the Fulda Gap. That's where the Russians wanted to invade Germany in the Cold War. Mm-hmm. But it was also used from Napoleon marched through there with 180,000 or more troops.
1797.
To Dresden, where he got his butt kicked. And,
Wow.
And who knows, the Celts, I think, went through there because we live in a river line. One side is the Roman road that goes up to England. That's where you find all the Roman coins and stuff. And on the other side of the river, that's where the Franks or the Celts lived, and that's where you find the Celt stuff, So that's very interesting.
Wow, just centuries of conflict just layered on top of each other. So when you guys go out, you may not know what you're going to find, but you know it's going to be good.
Yeah, but 90% of the time we ain't got a clue what we're finding. So Google is our best friend,
It is.
Because without even here. We're dealing with sometimes,
That's right. Yeah.
Right, or even just kind of posting it up on one of the Facebook pages or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we found silver coins, man, we didn't even know existed now. I mean, beautiful. Just amazing how these people made coins back then, I mean, absolutely.
Germany still has... I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, are we talking, Robbie, we're talking hammered coins, correct? Hammered silver?
Also coins, yeah.
Yeah,
but
that's just
like thin like paper, though, the hammered coins we find.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely
Right.
amazing.
I was gonna say, I mean, Germany made hammered coins up until about the 1850s, 1860s. You know, so people see a lot of like videos that come out of England. You know, it's always a medieval hammered coin. You know,
Or Roman.
or yeah. So, but the hammered coins in Germany. You know, it's like I was saying earlier. It's like the settings on your metal detector. You know, when you think they're not reliable because a silver hammered. Tiny silver hammered coin here in Germany will come up as like aluminum foil or something,
Yeah,
and they're not all
like
silver.
pull tab.
Yeah, pull tab. So, really, we just gotta dig everything, and they're not all these hammered coins are made out of silver. They're made out of that cheap Billon material. It's kind of a silver alloy. It's like it's junk silver really, and that comes up as a different tone. So
right. And you don't really have a VDI listed on the machine that tells you, oh, it's a hammered coin.
Right.
By that machine.
Right, yeah, exactly. Do you guys, because there are some, I believe, like some German detectors out there, do you guys find that they work any differently, or have you had any experience with them, or?
I only know of one, and I don't know their advertisement. I'm not really a fan of theirs. I don't know, they're called OMG or something.
I don't know. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's got like a pyramid as there's.
It looks like a T-mop type of thing.
Yeah. I'm not really sure. No, there's not a whole lot of German metal detector manufacturers here.
No. Well, we usually have to buy them in America or Australia, and we really have to pay a lot of money. We pay at least a couple $100 more than you all do.
Oh, yeah, I imagine, because you've got shipping plus probably some sort of taxes or something through customs and...
Yeah, it's pretty much a hassle.
Wow.
What machines are you guys using right now?
Well, I got a CTX 3030 and Excalibur 2, and you got the...
I use a Fisher CZ3D. It's almost 10 years old, and if you know anything about the CZ3D, or at least the way it looks, it's an ugly machine. It looks like a 1970s thing. It's got toggle switches on it and a little meter that bounces back and forth, and it's got these turn knobs and stuff like that.
Yep, big box over the handle.
Yeah, but I personally like turning knobs and flicking toggle switches because it makes me more in control. So I'm not thinking, why am I not, did I just pass over something because my programming's not right? Or am I completely in control of the settings of the machine? Not that there's a program running in the background, because now, Robbie's got like the best equipment ever, right?
I got to say, one of them arrowheads that Eric found, I could not pick it up with my CTX 3030.
That's what I'm talking about.
All open, all metal. I could not pick it up. And his machine was like going nuts. That's something I couldn't figure out because CTX 3030 is, I think, the best machine out there.
I call him in California.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we love using ours, but, man, that's just weird. It wouldn't pick it up at all.
Not even as all metal, nothing. No, it was pretty weird.
That's
even out of the ground?
Out of the ground, yeah. We was doing like a bench test.
Yeah, like an air test.
Didn't pick up nothing. But the second crossbow air, my machine went nuts. I haven't figured that one out. That was pretty weird.
Well, maybe it's because of whatever alloy they used in them where, the manufacturing may not have been as consistent or something.
I don't know, but it was a weird call, It surprised me. Because, I was asking him, hey, man, what sound did that come up with? And I wasn't getting a signal, But the second arrow he found, man, I was like tearing my machine apart, It was like going nuts. I couldn't figure it out.
You went to the detector side and wrap it around a tree.
Yeah.
Well, and I can see where that would be frustrating.
I've seen more than one CTX thrown into the back of a truck, I will tell you that.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good machine, though. You know.
It's a great machine. I love mine. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I mean, when we go out metal detecting somewhere and I get hit, and I'll tell Eric right away, this is a 2 Deutschmark piece, this is a Deutsche Reich, this is a Nazi coin, and it's, you know, pretty much that. You know?
Yeah, he could tell me what it is before he digs out of the ground. That's amazing.
I mean, it's more of a coin machine, I think, you know.
Well, it is a very good coin machine, but a lot of people underestimate it as far as terms of relic hunting, too.
Exactly.
I mean, it may not be your best suited machine for relic hunting, but it still performs very well, other than that kind of fluke with the crossbow bolt.
Yeah, but I love the machine because, you know, if there's a lake or whatever, you just jump in there and, you know, who knows? I mean, last year we were by Nuremberg, the first time I actually went metal detecting in a lake, and all of a sudden this old guy came to me and said, hey, man, did you hear the news? And I said, no, what's up, dude? He said, a couple of miles from here, a girl just found a 500-gram gold bar. And I said, no way.
And 500 gram? Oh,
yeah,
man.
$1,000.
Yeah, like an ingot, you know?
Yeah, with stamp and everything on it. And just came a couple of weeks out, she was allowed to keep it, so it wasn't in the crime scene or anything else. Didn't have any World War II stamps on it.
I was just going to ask you, do you have any Nazi type of...
If it did, I guess the government would probably confiscate it, you know?
Sure, yeah. Then, yeah, they could prove it was theirs, yeah.
Yeah, I actually saw the article. The bar was valued at like 18 or 20 grand, something like that. It did have some sort of markings on it, but I can't recall what right now.
Yeah, probably just some kind of serial number. But I mean, this was only like not far from where we were. You know, this was pretty frustrating.
How much water hunting do you actually do, Robbie? I know you got the X-Cal. I've got the X-Cal also. I'm a big fan of it. I've found hundreds of rings with it. I just absolutely am in love with that machine. But tell us, I know you said you kind of started off in the water, but are you still pretty much kind of converted back the other way now towards land? Tell us a little bit about the history with the water.
Actually, I've only had a water metal detector for 2 years now, and it's more like a coincidence, you know. We do a trip through Germany every year for a couple of days. We just take our metal detectors, tents, camping equipment, and what's that on the right? Let's go metal detecting. What's this on the left? Let's check this out, you know, and just wander through, and if there's a lake or whatever, you can jump in there, you know, and you find a lot of bling, a lot of silver, a lot of money. You know, these places have never been metal detected before. That's what makes it so cool. I mean, you always got a pocket full of money, you know. That's what's fun about it.
Most places are totally virgin.
Totally.
I was just going to say, so they must be virgin spots. Are you finding real old gold, too? Like here, I am such a huge fan of finding the turn-of-the-century gold rings. I love the old, and that to us is very antique-ish looking, got beautiful scroll work. The ingenuity that went into making them are just beyond belief.
Yeah, they just don't make them like they used to.
No, they don't. So my question to you is, because you live in such an old country, are you finding that type of ring too?
Well, I have, and they're mostly printed with different numbers, not like 14 karat, like 585. So that means it's older, a couple of wedding bands and stuff. But I haven't hit the jackpot yet, but I'm still hoping for it. You know, maybe like gold coin spill or something. That'd be nice.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah, I'd be all right with that. But the way it sounds with the areas you guys are hunting and everything, as far as potential or possibility, the sky's the limit.
Exactly.
Like basically any place here, because you really don't know. I mean, when you look out at a field or a piece of woods or or some secluded location. I mean, you don't know what was there 2,000 or 3,000 years ago. I mean, there could have been a thriving settlement there, you know, and there could have been just nothing there, like there is today. You really don't know. So it's, you know, it's really kind of hit and miss. I mean, you might find a spot that's got
it's luck.
I mean, yeah. I mean, so to do a lot of research, I don't spend a lot of time doing research. A lot of guys like to get old maps out and do that kind of thing. And if that works for you, that's great, you know. But I don't spend the time doing that really, and I usually find at least one good thing every time I go out.
Oh, I do my homework. I'm doing pretty good.
Right. Yeah, I mean, research may lead us to an area, but even once you're there, you still got to get your coil over the target.
Right. And I got a good example of that. I found I was looking for a medieval ruined settlement called, can't remember the medieval name of this place. I think it was called Aldenhausen or something like that. And I located it on a map. I knew where it was, and I thought, okay, let me go out there and see if I can find some, you know, maybe find some, you know, some medieval hand-hammered nails, you know, stuff they would have used to build with, you know, because, I mean, to me, that's even interesting. It doesn't have to be gold and coins and all that stuff. I mean, just everyday items, maybe a tool or something. Well, I went out there and I started digging up a lot of World War II American, you know, ammo cases, you know.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, isn't that interesting? And then there was like a little berm on the, you know, in the earth, and then right behind that I found a whole bunch of them. And then so I went over to the right a little bit and I found some more. And I thought, isn't that interesting? I was kind of looking at the terrain. I thought, this is where that medieval village was, but now I thought, okay, if I go in front of these positions where I was finding this American ammo, then I started finding a lot of German ammo. And this was close. I mean, they weren't far, you know. So really, you never know. You go out looking for one thing, you find something else. And here's probably a little World War II skirmish that took place between, you know, two platoons of German and American infantry that nobody knows about. It's just, it was just maybe a quick thing, a skirmish, and then it just broke up. Who knows, right?
Right. So, well, still, though, it's still very neat finds.
Were the cases filled with anything, or were they just empty cases?
They were just empty cases. Still, they were filled with dirt.
I bet they were screaming signals, though.
Oh, yeah, it's brass.
Yeah, man, it's like it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Wow. So we do find parts from Willie Jeeps or tanks or, you know, stuff like that. Or little badges from uniforms, World War II, stuff like that.
How about helmets? Did you guys find any helmets?
I've never found any helmets.
Well, they're mostly in very bad condition. It's hard to dig them up without tearing them apart. You know.
Okay.
Well, that's true.
I try to avoid World War II areas. I
know you.
I just don't like it.
Yeah, Eric's going, because I know when I wander in there, I'm going to find a bomb.
Exactly.
The last time we went out, I found the top of a hand grenade where the fuse would have been, you know, where you would have screwed it into the body of the hand grenade. Now the fuse was gone, the pin was gone, so obviously this was thrown in. So all I had was the top part, you know. But, you know, I didn't keep it, you know. It's just junk to me.
That's normal trash.
Yeah, that's you find those things occasionally. Yeah. Now grenade tops you don't find, I don't think, too much, but a lot of other stuff.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of bullets and stuff around here. That's normal.
Right.
So tell me, Robbie, I know we talked a little bit about some gold. Two questions for you real quick. One, have you ever found any gold coins? And two, these rings, have you found any that have got some actual dates in them?
No, I haven't found any gold coins. That's on my bucket list.
Okay.
And the gold rings, no dates.
No dates.
But, you know, just like the old numbers in like 585 or 555 or, you know, that doesn't exist, so it must have been a little bit older.
Yeah.
But it's hard to say, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Eventually, you're finding these hammered coins. I mean, eventually you're going to put your coil over one of those gold coins one of these days. And when you do, make sure you you post it up there for us, because we'd love to see it.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Just wait for that one swing.
For their hunting, it's only a matter of time.
I know. Especially where these places are virgin. I mean, and like you said, some of these areas have had, a couple thousand, 100 and something thousand troops walking through there. Somebody had something of value.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody lost something.
That's
I have found a couple of buttons from high officers from the Prussian War and from the Napoleon War.
Nice.
That happens a lot. Or coins that are exactly in that time frame, the Austrian War, Army, and the Napoleon.
Do you still have those in your collection?
I still got them here somewhere, yeah.
If you could get a picture of them, we'd love to see you put that on one of Josh and myself's before and after pictures group. Get a couple of pictures together. We'd love to see them.
Well,
really.
Send them to Josh over Facebook would probably be the easiest way for me.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then if you don't mind, we'll repost it and get it over there because
we can
that stuff
get it out there.
Yeah, I mean, that stuff just doesn't come along every day for us over here, so we'd love to at least take a look at it. That's awesome.
Oh, man, I still got slingshot ammo. I mean, this is like...
Really?
Yeah. Crazy.
Wow.
That's really old.
I mean,
the stuff they're finding is just, man...
Right. So the slingshot, is it lead, but they're not round?
But it's shaped like a pear or like a...
Right. Right. I have seen that before, but a lot of these people that are tuned in tonight have never even heard of that. So yeah, if you could get a couple of pictures for us here and there of some of the things that especially where you have Eric there. I mean, he knows what we do have and kind of don't have in the U.S. If you could just get a little collage of a few of these pictures, we'd love to have them.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
That'd be great. Awesome.
Yeah, because, I mean, like Leighton, I've seen some sling bullets myself, but there's a very good possibility that some of the people listening don't have a clue what that is.
Right.
I mean, and it's not necessarily, I guess, for any other reason, just because over here, we don't run across that sort of stuff.
Right.
We don't have the history.
I was going to say, and if we did, we wouldn't even know what it was anyway. And, it's all relative to where you're living, obviously. So, and like you just said, Josh, we just never even had that stuff here. We don't date back that far.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of us, if we dug up a sling bullet, we'd just, it's a weird piece of lead.
Right. We think it was a fishing weight.
Right. Exactly. That's just the way it goes.
I do happen to have a couple of those, though. The sling bullets.
Fishing weights?
Yeah, I got a lot of those. But the sling bullets, you got a couple of those too this past year, did you not?
No, not me.
Okay, I thought maybe you got a couple there. But
no, but I have seen them. I know what they are.
Okay.
Yeah,
get a couple.
Pretty crazy what we find sometimes. I mean, there was just a newspaper article out. A couple of kids were playing around and they found skeleton bones, completely skeletons. These were from the Middle Age, So
wow,
it's crazy. It happens here.
Good grief!
Yeah, like those pictures that I sent you, because like downtown, where I live, they were remodeling a parking lot. They're tearing it up and they're going to make like a little park area to sit in and stuff. And they found over 600 skeletons that date back to the 1400s, and there used to be a chapel, a medieval chapel there, and that was a graveyard.
And this is in the middle of a big city.
In the middle of the city.
Concrete city.
So I got over there to talk with the archaeologists. I took a bunch of pictures and stuff. Now,
have you guys ever been approached by archaeologists or local historical society or anything for assistance with your metal detectors?
No, but I wouldn't have a problem with it. I would love to do something.
Yeah, so that was going to be the next question, is whether or not you guys would be receptive to something like that.
Okay, can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, so back in 2007, the archaeologists that are responsible for this area in Bavaria, they were doing a project, like a field walking project, where they were trying to get a bunch of people online to move across fields and look for things like pottery and things where they might say, okay, 100, 200, 300 years ago there might have been something here. Maybe in the Middle Ages there might have been something here. Because the little settlements, they sprouted up and decayed like just over.
They were all over the place. One goes down, another sprouts up.
That's right. And then during the 1300s, during the plague, a lot of these places just fell into disrepair and just decayed back into the earth because the people either moved away or they were all dying. And then so all that stuff's still there. So these archaeologists, they were doing this field walking project. So I called this guy. And I said, hey, look, I'm interested in your field walking project. I'd like to assist you with my metal detector. And he wasn't too crazy about that idea. Mm-hmm. I said, okay, you guys walk in front. I'll be behind you and kind of clean up, the metal stuff you didn't find.
Gold.
Yeah, right. You guys can pick up the
pull tabs.
The pottery shards.
You guys can pick up the trash.
So I'm talking to this guy, and I said, you know what, listen, okay, he didn't want me to come out there and do that because he didn't want that kind of exposure, I guess, for this project. And so he said, listen, we'll arrange a meeting for us to meet. I'll bring my supervisor, and we'll, you can bring your finds and all the stuff that you found so far, and we'll take pictures, we'll catalog it, and, we'll talk about it. So I brought, just buckets and you know how it is. Like you can get buckets of stuff at the house, right?
Right.
So
I'm just going, well, what do I bring? Well, I'll just bring a bunch of it.
Right. So I'm just carrying all these buckets of stuff, and they had a great big table set out. And I just dumped it out on this table, and they're kind of picking through it. And to me, these were special things to me, But to them, they were just like, nah. They wrote something down, and they would just keep picking through this stuff. And they were done looking through my stuff. 10 years worth of detecting in like 3 minutes. And I was like, is that it? And they're like, well, we found 2 pieces here that are interesting, and then they wanted to know. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, so I really haven't found anything really good. What I did learn, though, from this whole experience is that the archaeologists, they're not interested in the objects themselves. They're interested in the context.
The story it tells.
Exactly. They could really care less about the find itself, And this one piece in particular that I had was a thinly hammered. It was like a brooch kind of, but it was like sheet metal but bronze, and it had an eagle on it, and it was gold plated. Mm-hmm. And I asked them, I said, well, how do you think this is? And they said, well, this is probably from around 1300. And then they wanted to know exactly where I found it. I didn't really know anymore where I found it. That was kind of a mistake that I made, early on, where I wasn't keeping track of stuff, where I found certain things. And, so they really frowned on me about that. But there was a lot of red tape and working with the archaeologists, but I do have a point of contact that I can go to. And when I do find something, because they don't want to see coins from 1870. They don't, they're not interested in a
right. They're kind of going, that's new, whatever.
Or a buckle, stuff that we like, that we enjoy. They don't really need to see it. So anything that is of great historical significance, now I can't be the one to judge that, but when we do find something, I have a guy I can go to and show it to him.
Right. So in a sense, it's kind of left a little bit of a bad taste, but I kind of pick up that you may still be receptive to working with them sometime if the opportunity arises.
Sure, why not?
Right. The responsible thing to do in, preserving
history,
well, the context of the find, is if we did find something that was significant, then, like a hoard of, I'm just making something up, like Bronze Age axes or something like that, I would definitely have these guys come in and look, at the context of the find and not just tear it up out of the ground.
Well, speaking of axes, I'm glad that you kind of threw that in there. I was just looking at some of the older pictures that you sent us, and Robbie's, I believe, with the key. If you remember the picture that you took with the key and some of the axe heads that you have together, I don't know if these folks have actually had a chance to look at that picture, but that picture tells me that you are in some serious area with some serious history. I mean,
yeah, he's in a great spot.
He certainly is. I mean, just the artifacts alone. I mean, some of those old shoes, you know, from the horses, and it looks to me almost like a little hand pistol up there on the left. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I know. I speak probably for everyone on board. Those items right there alone are historically significant to anybody who ever finds them.
Yeah, not anything to just discount. They're finds to be proud of for sure, regardless of what anybody with an archaeological degree may think.
Right. No, just fantastic stuff.
Yeah, kudos. Well, actually, kudos to both of you.
Yeah.
For the finds that you've been making.
Did we lose them?
Uh-oh. Yeah, I think we did.
Okay. Well, maybe we can get them back on there. I know we were running out of time there anyway, but still a great show. And I'll tell you what, I mean, I was looking, like I said, at some of their finds, Josh, and it really is amazing, the things that they've, you know, are finding from medieval times. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just phenomenal what they've been finding.
Nazi stuff, Nazi pins. I even see some whistles in there. You know, silver coinage. Like you said, sling bullets. I mean, there's just such a big array and such a time gap in between everything. It's nuts.
Yeah, it is. But, man, I mean, just hearing these stories, it's like, oh, a trip to Germany sounds awfully tempting. It
does. Boy, they're only 6 hours difference as far as time goes. I don't know how. It's probably a pretty good flight, 9-hour flight, I would imagine. No, maybe even more.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, sounds about right. So were we able to get them back or no? It looks like they kind of dropped off on us again.
Yeah, so far we haven't. I don't know, maybe they lost their internet connection or something. That's because when we first went live, we did have a little bit of a connection issue there, it sounded like, but then we we took our break and reconnected with them, and everything seemed to clear up then. So definitely appreciate the folks for hanging in there with us while we were dealing with that little bit of an issue.
Yeah, well, it turned into a really nice show. I enjoyed talking with them guys. I hope they can get back with us.
Yeah, and I think we did lose them, which is very unfortunate because it was an absolute pleasure to speak with them.
Right, and if they are listening, I'd like to take this opportunity to speak for both of us. I mean, and I'm sure all our guests too are thinking the same. Them guys, they went out of their way for us, Josh, and we really do owe them a big thank you because, let's face it, it's 2 o'clock in the morning when they first started or thereabouts, maybe even a little earlier. And here it is, going on, maybe 3:30, 4:45 over their time. So really nice of them folks to stay up for us and, and join us live here in the U.S. So we are going to have to get them back. In a way, it's good. It's sad that we lost them, but good to get them. Give them a chance to come back and finish up the show with us on another visit. What do you think?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is that hopefully we can get them back again sometime because it was a pleasure. Apologies for the little bit of the choppy connection in the beginning, and because I'm sure with especially the beginning, had the audio been clearer, it was a great show, no complaints, but man, and the stories they've got, the finds they've made, wow.
Now that they're a little more comfortable with everything going on, and they know how Skype works, and how the show goes, I'm sure it'd be no issue to get them back again. And the hardest thing is to collaborate everybody, because there is such a time difference.
Right. The hardest thing would be the scheduling. And folks, I did. Robbie is in contact with me. He did get a message to me that they had a technical issue over there. His computer's down, so they are the air for the duration.
Okay. All right. Well, fair enough. I just want to thank them again for all of us that tuned in tonight.
Yeah.
Not just yourself and myself, but awfully nice of them to sit in with us. I had a great time, as usual.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a great time. Really enjoyed them taking the time. Just with scheduling and everything, we've been waiting for this one for a while, so it was great to talk to them and bring that content and information to the listeners, as well as to ourselves.
Right. And speaking of waiting a long time, I'm just going to throw this out there for those that are still with us live. Next week, folks, you're going to want to be here too. First time ever interviewed, ever. We're going to have Jack Summers from Radio World up there in Canada, and he'll be on promoting his hunt that's coming up, the Hiawatha hunt, in June. So stay tuned for that. That will be live next Wednesday, the 25th. And of course, Sunday night, Josh will be here with myself, and we'll be doing that crazy open line thing again. So you never know where it's going to go, right?
That's right. I thought maybe they had their system back up because he was trying to contact us, but looks like maybe they're still having some sort of difficulty.
Right.
But, we're pretty much at the end of our rope, too.
Right.
So, I guess we should roll out of there, but absolutely thanks again to them if they are in fact listening or listen to the archive. So until Sunday, like Leighton said,
keep it low, keep it slow.
That's right. We're out of here, folks. Thanks for dropping by. We'll see you Sunday.